Now, tonight's adventure into the unknown.
Shut up and sit down.
Do not underestimate the power of patriotism.
You've got the heart, you've got the determination. You can sell. You know you're doing the right thing. That is an amazing skill that not everybody has.
One of the things I want to create is what I call the Victory Army. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to recruit, train, equip, and deploy an all-veteran sales force. And this is how we're going to scale. Sharks, I spent half of my life making bad guys go away.
Everybody said the same thing. Nobody doubts you. Crush it, buddy.
Thanks for your service.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, Betty Bean. Good luck.
Thanks, guys. That's a good brand.
I will survive in the coffee industry the same way I survived in Iraq and Afghanistan. I will be better, quicker, and smarter, and I will crush the competition.
Awesome.
That former Navy SEAL, friend of the show's, founder of Victory Coffees, has hopes of becoming the official coffee of the White House.
Cade Courtley is here right now and joining us again. Now, Cade, the last time I saw you was on Shark Tank talking about this very coffee.
As a Navy SEAL, I worked in some of the most hostile places on the planet. Believe me when I tell you, a good cup of coffee, that was often the best part of our day. That's why I started Victory Coffees. We are a veteran-owned, veteran-operated business whose only mission is to deliver you outstanding coffee. Simply choose from one of our organically grown, fairly traded international blends. You can get it in whole bean, you can get it ground, we even make it in K-cups. We'll deliver to your door every month. And folks, it's just $1 a cup. So please, stop spending $5 on crappy coffee when you can enjoy a victory every day. Thanks for your support, and God bless America. So why did I get in the coffee business? Well, it beats the hell out of getting shot at.
Welcome to Sarge Approved. Hey, Frenzy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I'm excited.
I am too. We have a guest tonight.
Yeah, a very interesting man with a lot of stories to tell.
Yes.
Mr. Cade Courtley.
Hey, Cade. How's it going?
It's going great. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Really good.
Glad to have you. Thanks for sharing your time with us this evening.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. I'm glad we all survived before.
Yeah, we did. Barely.
Although my liver is totally pissed off at me right now.
That comes with the territory.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you didn't lose any fingers.
Right? Yeah, no fingers last during fireworks.
So where are you coming to us from tonight, kid?
So I just recently moved to Fort Collins, Colorado. I was living in Charleston, South Carolina, but I had an engagement explode like a grenade, so I'm back home.
Nice.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah. I was I went to basic training
now than shopping for a divorce lawyer in 6 months.
Yeah, that is better.
That is true. You make a damn good point there. That's probably saved you a lot of money. You don't have to pay for a wedding. You don't have to pay for a divorce. You don't have to pay for
you know what? I don't have to hang out with those fucking in-laws. That's the silver lining. Swear to God, man, it was like a Christmas present in June.
That's awesome. The in-laws.
So, Cade, I'm gonna for our listeners who aren't familiar with you, you've done a lot of things. You're a Navy SEAL, former Navy SEAL. You have a best-selling book, the SEAL Survival Guide. You had a TV show. I believe that was on, what was it, on Spike TV or Discovery Channel?
Yeah, it was. I did a show called Surviving Disaster on Spike TV.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that.
I think I have too.
I know I've seen at least one episode because I recognized it once I saw you. Because I didn't realize at first that you had that show, and I didn't put two and two together that it was the same guy. And I was like, oh shit, he had that Surviving Disaster show too.
Yeah.
And how many?
Yeah, I mean, it was a random turn of events, but I basically went from the SEAL teams and being a platoon commander surrounded by some of the most elite and amazing individuals in the world, I would jump on a grenade at a second's notice.
Right.
To Los Angeles. Entertainment industry. And, I wouldn't trust them with a piece of gum on the bottom of my shoe.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It was my choice. I mean, I had a lot of fun. Sam Jackson had the best quote. He said, "The work is amazing, the business sucks balls."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's pretty true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
but it is what it is. I mean, I had some fun. I had some success. But you stay out there too long, you can't even look at yourself in the mirror.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, I lived out there for a year, and that's all I could do. I was like, I'm out.
How you
Couldn't
do
do
is
it.
look at yourself in the mirror.
LA is a grind. I mean,
Yeah.
It's a grind.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're in that business. That's all right. I'm back in the mountains and couldn't be happier.
Nice. Well, thank you for your service, too, by the way.
Yes.
You guys were worth it. That's what I mean.
Absolutely.
I'm an Army veteran myself, and I know us Army and Navy guys can bump heads from time to time. I've got some Navy buddies, and we constantly talk shit to each other.
Well, you know, the inter-service rivalry thing, at the end of the day, we're all on the same team, and we're all out there, you know, risking our necks to get the job done. So I think more of that's just sort of friendly banter.
Friendly banter, yeah.
Except, just giving each other shit. We're not actually...
when I was in Bosnia, we got kind of hung out to dry when we were supposed to have SF QRF come in and get us when we called them, and they were a no-show.
Oh,
so...
no.
QRF didn't show up.
You, brother.
How did they not show up?
Group that wasn't very special when Special Forces was supposed to show up.
They flaked out. That's crazy.
I did QRF in Iraq. I was military police.
Yeah,
but we always showed up.
That's good.
Well, God bless you, man. I mean, that's all we ask for. It's like, hey, if we get on the radio and say, "Yeah, we need you now." Mm-hmm. We kind of really, really needed you now.
Yeah.
And you kind of never showed up. It was a crazy story, man. It ended up being me and my radio operator blasting through a town where they were putting up tires and barricades and stuff like that. And we knew we couldn't get back that way, so we went through a field. And the thing about Bosnia is you had all these guys put all these landmines all over the place, and then they ended up dying, so they're the only ones that knew where the landmines were. So... I mean, literally rolling the dice, we just blasted through this cornfield. And it's like, well...
That's crazy.
All right.
Those landmines in Bosnia, they're all over the place, and they've been there for, like, decades.
Oh, yeah.
Been there forever.
Yeah. And again, the people who put them there and mapped them usually end up stepping on one, and so nobody knows where the hell they're at.
Yeah.
And they didn't save any backup... They didn't save any backup maps? That wasn't very smart.
Well, if you're in the landmine business, it's probably not very smart anyway.
Well, yeah, true.
Kind of like a crack dealer. It's like, so what's your backup plan? Huh?
What? I need a backup plan? I'm just going to smoke the crack.
Second form of revenue?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. So you, you did your tour in Hollywood. You also you were also a contractor for Blackwater. Is that true?
Yeah, it's interesting when that whole thing. So, quick background, and I'll make it quick. But Eric Prince, the guy who was the founder of Blackwater, he was a Navy SEAL officer, as I was, and he was stationed at SEAL Team 8 on the East Coast, and when I was at SEAL Team 2 on the East Coast. And Eric's parents were extremely wealthy. His dad passed away and basically turned the business over to him, which is valued at, $3 billion. So, I mean, Eric served. He served well. He did one platoon. And then he decided when he got out and took over the family business, when we wanted to do close quarters combat and kill house kind of stuff, that type of training, we had to hop in a fucking plane and fly somewhere that was 1,000 miles away. So Eric built a training facility that was about a 45-minute drive away from the East Coast SEAL teams in this place called Moyac. And that was just sort of give back, like, here you go, guys, train as much as you want, and there's a couple kill houses and a couple ranges. So Blackwater was just meant to be a training facility as a gift to the East Coast teams. And then when we found ourselves at war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and the military was they just didn't have the manpower, nor did they have the ability to have deniability. Mm-hmm. Eric got a call, and they said, hey, we need a group of guys that are fresh, like have just gotten out within the last year, still have the skill set, good shape, to go out and work with the agency and do some of these things that we're not allowed to talk about. And we will have total deniability. So that was the start of the private army for what became known of as independent contractors. And I was one of the people. I'd gotten out maybe 4 months earlier. So, I mean, I still had the skill set. And they brought a bunch of us together and started training us. And they wouldn't tell us what it was for, but they said, you guys are going to make $1,000 a day. And that sounded good at the time because I was broke as a joke. And, we started deploying with the agency and doing that stuff.
So you were a spook. You were working for the spooks, technically.
Oh, these guys, man. It's funny. You have sort of an idea of what you think like a CIA agent would be, like Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
No, these guys, like, they spend maybe 3 months and a couple of weeks on the range with a Glock, and they think they're Jason Bourne, but it's just not the case. It's like they hire people who are accountants, lawyers, whatever. I mean, they have to pass a polygraph. So it's the kind of people like never got invited to prom in high school. And it's unfortunate because if you are interrogating some of the meanest motherfuckers in the world that are totally heartless, you need to have some kind of an idea of what that mindset is. And instead they had a bunch of virgins.
Yeah, you had to have done some shit in your life that you may not be totally proud of.
Look, I get it. You're giving somebody a security clearance, and so they have to have a clean background. I get that. But when you're in a small box trying to get information from this guy who probably ate his children when he was 7, and you are literally like I said earlier, you're a virgin accountant. How useful is that going to be?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense because I get that too.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense to us, but we were just doing our job.
And so you guys weren't getting to do the interrogating, the actual battle hardened members of the team.
I can't talk about that, but they realized that there was an effective way to get information, and there was a non-effective way to get information, and so they kind of altered the way they did things.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to do what you got to do, man.
Yeah. Exactly.
So how long did you end up doing that with Blackwater?
Well, I was kind of living a double life. It was weird. I was up in Hollywood I started doing stunt work, which was a natural sort of progression for a guy who used to be in the SEAL teams. And stunt guys, they're the best guys in Hollywood. They're as close as you can get to a SEAL. Work hard, play hard, take care of each other, watch each other's backs. Tight group. So those guys were amazing. And then when they started realizing I could make complete sentences and I was fairly articulate, I started doing some acting, and it didn't take long to realize I was a fucking shitty actor, so I stopped doing that pretty quick. But it's funny, I got a call from my agent. They're like, hey, congratulations, we're going to fly you to Australia. You got this amazing TV commercial you're going to do. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. They're going to pay you twice as much. I was like, wow. What's the product? It's Valtrex, the herpes medication.
Oh no!
I'm gonna be the face of Valtrex.
Oh my god!
So, did you do it?
I'm not that desperate right now. So, but thanks for the offer.
Man. Yeah, Viagra might have been a little bit better than that, like the ones where they're sitting in the bathtubs next to each other, like in outdoor situations.
Yeah, but like this was back when I was in my 30s. So
okay.
Viagra, there's some issues.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. A decent paycheck to be the face of herpes.
No, thanks. I'm good.
No.
They're like, no, they're going to double your pay. I was like, yeah, then I'm going to come back and be unemployable. Because I'll be the guy on the billboard.
And undateable.
Right? I will never have sex again.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, you might have made a good choice. You probably would have never gotten laid after that.
I think that was a good choice, yeah.
Yeah, the paycheck just wasn't big enough to go that route. So actually, when I realized I was a shitty actor, and I really was, the interesting thing is when I was in these pitch meetings about different projects, people were asking me about my background, and they're like, man, you should start writing. So I was a kid who in high school waited until the last minute to do the writing assignments. I hated it, but I was able to link up with this guy named Joe Gayton, who had been a screenwriter for about 20 years. He wrote the movie Uncommon Valor, among others.
Okay.
And we totally hit it off. So Joe and I started getting together, and man, we were knocking out of the park. We'd go in a meeting, and they'd say, "We'll buy it," and we sold four screenplays like back to back to back. One of them actually got made, and I was like, "Cool, I'm a writer."
Wow, which one got made?
I never saw this coming. I knew you were going to ask that question. So we created this movie that was based on Harrison Ford's daughter is a journalist overseas and gets abducted. And Harrison Ford was a Vietnam vet, so he goes and gets his old team together because the government's not doing anything about it, to include some young guys. And so we were basically creating this sort of like these characters or these actors that you've been seeing forever who are past their prime, and then we were going to sort of be able to roll in some like hot new actors that'd be like future, that this is the path to being the next action adventure guy. And Sony's like, yeah, we love it. And then we get a phone call about 2 weeks later after we signed the paperwork. And they said, well, we're changing directions on this. We owe Jean-Claude Van Damme one more movie, and he wants this one to be his last movie. And by the way, it's gonna go direct to video. And we're like, fuck. But when you're a writer and you cash a check, there's nothing you can do. It's like, thanks for coming.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Don't bother us anymore.
Well, hopefully you got some decent mailbox money out of that, right? At least when it goes to video.
Direct to video is pretty lean. I mean, I got a check last week for $17.92 for royalties.
Yeah.
So oh, okay, cool. A couple cocktails. The movie was called The Shepherd Border Patrol with JCVD.
Okay, yeah, I think I've heard of that one. I think I've seen that. I haven't seen it, but I've seen it on.
Well, you haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it. I've seen like the cover. I recognize the name, The Shepherd.
Well, it's usually the Jean-Claude movies have him like in a sexy pose with like fire and explosives and guns,
punching someone. In
like that's usually.
Off. He looks like he hadn't slept in 5 days on our cover. He's like,
roundhouse kicking somebody.
Jean-Claude Van Damme was pretty badass in his day when he
like
Bloodsport. If it was 20 years earlier, then I would have been doing backflips. But when it goes direct to DVD, not so much. But I'm a produced screenwriter, so I guess I can say that without.
I'm right.
You got that under your belt. That's good. So
it got made.
Yeah, that's good. It got made. That's the important thing. You used to do security too for some music peeps.
Some music peeps.
You know what? I got just another random sort of occurrence. I guess that's sort of the story of my life. Just these sort of random right and left turns that happen, and then I go down the path for a little while. But I got to be really good friends with the bass player in Linkin Park. His name's Dave. He goes by Phoenix.
Yeah.
And Linkin Park is they're really laid back guys. They're great. I mean, I love these guys. And when they would go to places like Asia or Central and South America, they wanted security, but they didn't want it to look like security. They didn't want like the 300-pound sumo wrestler following them around, because that's just their mindset. It's like, we need you there if something happens, but other than that, you're just hanging out with us.
Right.
And so I went on the road with those guys 4 different times, and again, just great guys. You don't have to worry about, oh shit, there's a dead hooker in their hotel room, or I just caught him with a needle in his arm. You know, they're family men, great guys. I'd hop on a grenade for Dave, and so I mean, it was a 5-star vacation with a rock band. It was a lot of fun. We had a blast, and I touched on it before the show, but on one of these tours, it was one of those sort of festivals where there are 5 different bands at play. So Linkin Park was second to last, and then Metallica was the closer. And to be able to sit there just to the right of stage, 30 feet away from that band, and watch those guys play and how tight they played, and I'll never forget this visual. I looked down, and Chester and Mike and Dave from Linkin Park are like sitting Indian style, and they're looking at Metallica, and they're in awe. Like, you could tell they're like, fuck, these guys are so
badass.
Good.
Yeah.
And they talked about it the whole like van ride back to the hotel, about how tight they were and about how good they were. And it was interesting because, I mean, they're a really successful band sitting there in awe, which they should be, watching what Metallica's doing now. And it was a really cool experience. And we're in Japan, so it's like,
that's cool.
The fans were crazy.
I'm sure. I've heard Metallica is one of the best bands to see live, like, ever.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you know, they're all sober now, and so they're playing better than ever. I don't know if you guys have heard any of their new album, but it's so freaking good.
Really?
I mean, it's just, oh man.
Well, those guys, the Linkin Park guys, they probably grew up listening to Metallica and idolized them in a way, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably right, but I mean, you could see it in their faces.
Yeah.
It was wild. They were kind of like, the mouth was half open, and they're like, God damn, these guys are phenomenal.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a really cool. It was kind of a top 10 moment for me to be able to sit there 30 feet away from who I consider one of the best bands in the world. At least, you know, in the hard stuff.
So it was in Japan, you said?
Yeah, that was one of the stops we did on that festival tour.
Okay.
I remember.
And it's so funny, like the crowd was so fired up, and they would get right up to the retaining fence, and they would climb over. And then they were very courteous. They're like bowing and like, I'm sorry, I know I'm not supposed to be here. They would walk off.
They're so polite.
But I really want to.
I'm sorry.
I've heard that.
They rushed the stage, but then they stopped and realized, I apologize.
I've heard that about the Japanese people, that they're just like extremely polite, and you know they still carry that code of honor, you know, that kind of resonates throughout the country and society. You know, they're not, you know, you have dishonored your family.
No, they're like Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, no, I mean, nobody like killed themselves. That's what they call that.
Fall on your sword. I think it's
once they realize, okay, now I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
I apologize. I'll walk away.
Just go.
I've heard in places in Japan, like they don't even let you into a lot of places if you have visible tattoos.
Correct. We had to wear long shirts. Long sleeve shirts when we were there because of that kind of thing. Because I'm all sleeved up, and most of the guys on the security were. Here's the funny thing about the security thing, though. So Linkin Park, right? There were 6 of us, and we split up. Thank God. I got Chester, Mike, and Dave, which were the awesome guys in the band. Dude, I mean, just trouble-free, nice. I mean, I was like one of their brothers on the road. And then there's the guitarist and the drummer, who were just a huge pain in the ass, and we let the new guys take care of them. Like, you know, I don't want to talk shit, but like the drummer, he would go into a hotel room and start sniffing, and if he didn't like the way it smelled, he said, "Nope, this won't work." And one time he went to 7 different rooms.
Oh my
like,
God!
Really, dude?
What a diva!
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but hey, I don't want to talk shit.
No.
They are all real good to me, and. You know, I have a special place in my heart for Mike and Chester and Dave. Just great guys.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love the way that the Japanese advertise things that come from America. Like I had a friend once, and he loved Metallica, and he had this shirt that was from a tour that Metallica had done in Japan, and it might have been the same tour for all I know. But the shirt had, you know, tour dates and their logo and all that stuff, but it was made in Japan, so it had Japanese marketers making this shirt, and it was just hilarious because the kind of things you would see on it were like Metallica, #1 supergroup, you know, things like that.
Yeah, Metallica, top 1 of major excellence.
Yeah.
What?
What does that mean?
I know, dude. We saw some hilarious, like, sort of knockoff shirts where they're like, Linkin Park, best #1 band of top all-time, never all together.
Yeah, it's just buzzwords.
It's cute. They're just putting all the words together, but they don't make sense. Like, that doesn't go.
Super awesome, excellent.
Yeah.
It's like, is this Wayne's World? Or
right.
What the hell happened there?
Were you there for more than just the concert? Did you get to experience any of the karaoke bars that they have over there? I've heard they have some insane karaoke bars.
Here's the deal. At the end of the day, I was with them 24/7. So if they wanted to go wherever, I was with them. If they just wanted to go to sleep, I was a phone call away in a room right next door, that kind of thing. But, I mean, like I said, they were so low maintenance. It was just a fun trip hanging out with those guys. Great guys. And I mean, I grew up really loving their music, and I still do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And, but, yeah, I mean, like I say, I wasn't on the clock. It was a 5-star vacation hanging out with some good dudes.
Hell yeah. Did you have to be in the room while they were banging groupies and stuff too?
Well, that's what made it so awesome is because they were so low maintenance. They all have families. They're all faithful. They're all, just good dudes. I mean, like I said, I didn't have to worry about the dead hooker.
Sarge was making a drink when you were talking about that. That they,
I didn't do that.
They're very like clean cut, like good, genuine.
Well, and I really respect it because early on, at least this is what I was told. But early on, they said, "Hey guys, well, we can approach this as a lifestyle, or we can approach this as business. And if we're going to approach this as business, everybody needs to stay clean, stay out of trouble, and let's make great music." And that's what they did. And it made my job real easy.
Yeah, you probably don't hear too much of these days of the rock bands like from the 70s and 80s that their whole thing was chicks and drugs and trashing hotel rooms and things like that.
Nobody in Linkin Park was throwing a mattress out the window. I mean, I didn't get those phone calls. I was ready for them, but it would have been a surprise.
Yeah.
No, it's great guys.
That's
very
cool.
cool.
Good guys.
And let's see. So you had this book you were talking about. You were doing writing, but you did the writing for you started out writing for like screenplays and stuff, correct?
Yeah, so I was doing screenplays, and then, like I said, when the checking account started fucking getting low, I called the agency. I'd be like, "All right, I'm ready to do another trip." So then I'd go over to Iraq or Afghanistan for a few months and build up the checking account again.
Mm-hmm.
And then come back and try and pick up business in Hollywood again. And so, like I said, kind of double life. It was really random. And one time when I was in Baghdad, I got an email from a guy that works at Spike, and we had worked on this goofy project like several years earlier, and now he had kind of gone up in the ranks, and he's like, "Hey, we need a host for this new show. It's about survival, but we want a guy that actually has been there and done that, and we think you'd be perfect for it. It's called Surviving Disaster. You're going to be the host, and you're going to talk about what to do if you're in the middle of a hurricane or you're in an active shooter situation, you're on a hijacked plane." And I was like, and I was kind of getting burnt out on the Hollywood thing. I was like, yeah, how many times have I heard this phone call?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, I'll tell you what. Here's the deal. They wanted me to send them of some footage, like, "Hi, I'm Cade Courtley, and whatever, I'm this guy." So we're getting ready to go out on a run, and the sun's starting to go down. So I'm all geared up with my shit, and I threw my phone to my buddy. I go, "Hey, just hit record and follow me around for 2 minutes." And so I did the whole, "Hey, I'm Cade Courtley, former Navy SEAL. I'm in Baghdad right now. We're getting ready to head out and take care of business. And if you really want me to host this show, send the paperwork to my lawyer. Otherwise, leave me the fuck alone." And then I couldn't have timed it better. There's this boom in the background, and the ID went off maybe within about 3 miles. I go, "Yeah, that's a fucking IED." And they saw that, and they're like, "We've got our host."
Right? That's
and
awesome.
48 hours after leaving Baghdad, I'm in front of a camera in London shooting the pilot. So,
oh wow,
it's been a strange journey, man.
When were you over in Baghdad? What time or year?
Geez, I started doing those trips around 2004, and I decided to hang up my guns about 2 years ago. I just figured I've done it enough. I'm over it,
So we were in Baghdad at the same time. I was there from 2004 to 2006.
Where were you at? We were at Bayat.
We were stationed at
Summer House.
We were at Fob Rustamaya. It was formerly Cuervo, but they changed it to Rustamaya. So we were outside of Baghdad, but all of our patrols and missions were in Baghdad.
Yeah.
So yeah,
well,
we were over at the same time.
The same soil.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You still have all your fingers and all your toes?
I got them all. Yep.
Congratulations.
I know, right?
Welcome back.
had plenty of close calls, but apparently my luck lasted long enough till I got home.
Well, I mean, you know the deal, too. It's like rolling the dice. Every time you hop in a Humvee or whatever you're using for mobility, it's like, well, okay, we'll see what happens this time. And after my active duty and then doing the security stuff, I just kind of figured, you know what? It's a young man's game. I can't even keep a plan alive back in the United States of America, much less relationships, so I think I'm going to go ahead and retire.
Yeah. Yep. So you had 48 hours later, you're in London shooting the pilot, and this is like you're saying, this isn't like your typical survival show where you're out in the woods like teaching people how to rub sticks together. You were teaching people like.
Well, no, actually, our pilot was a hijacking.
Yeah,
it was a plane that was hijacked. So kind of this was sort of the blueprint of the show, Surviving Disaster. They would have an event that would happen. So like a plane just got hijacked, and you have all these people responding to it, all these extras. And then I would almost, for lack of a better term, parachute in, and I would talk directly to the camera. So the folks at home, I'm telling them, you need to do this, 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 but I'm surrounded by this cast of people that are in the middle of the event. Mm-hmm. And, I'm proud of the show. The final product was great. Spike was difficult to work with. I mean, when they started asking 67-year-old female extras to do stunts, I'm like, God, she's going to break a fucking hip, you cheap bastards. So it was like, it turned into not a very good situation as far as the relationship between reality TV, which is kind of the bottom of the bucket, folks.
God.
And
Yeah.
I said, look, if I was on here saying, hey, my name's Sam and I used to be a car salesman, I don't give a shit. But I'm coming on, and in the intro to the show is, my name is Cade Courtley. I'm a former Navy SEAL, and I'm going to save your life. And I go, you guys might not give a shit about that, but I do, because I'm representing myself, I'm representing a community, and this needs to be done right. So that's why we are a one-season show.
Yeah, that's what sucks is when things like that, when you're dealing with the suits in Hollywood, they all want to stick their grubby little fingers in it and go forward with the ideas that they have that they think are going to be, make a good show.
Well, they don't give two shits about reputation.
They don't
At the end of the day, if they were able to screw somebody over, they had a great day. And they don't care about, hey, you're representing a community of elite operators. Hey, this is your name that we're putting on this. This is you. And, the old saying in Hollywood is when you're on the set, you're like, hey, everybody relax. We're not saving lives here, all right? But we were. I mean, at least trying to give information to folks that might save their life if they're in that environment. And I took that very seriously. I felt a responsibility for that. And folks at Spike are like, dude, whatever. We do 1,000 Ways to Die and the Boob Super Bowl, so whatever. What's the problem?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that was sort of like, you know what? I think it's time to get on to the next chapter.
Yeah. I think that's why, like, people, because, you still have plenty of people out there that are junkies when it comes to reality TV, just that drivel that you see in so many reality TV shows. But then you get the shows like Survivor Man or Life Below Zero, Alone, where it's, it's not just scripted. It's,
dude,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, dude, Les Stroud is legit.
I know, and that's what people appreciate, that shit.
Yeah,
and he's out there, and he's like really doing it, and he's got his own camera, and he is legit. And then you have Baby Bear Grylls, where they're like, and cut. So Bear, what kind of sushi do you want?
Yeah.
Have you checked out the show?
I'm in the middle of the desert, and I came upon a arc welder and a '57 Chevy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, how did that get here?
That's what's dumb about it.
It's so
like,
dumb.
Because I get that, they're trying to set up scenarios so that he can show you shit, but a lot of stuff he does is like, look at me and look at all the cool things that I know how to do, like rappel down the side of a mountain. Well, your average person isn't going to rappel down the side of a mountain if they're lost in the middle of the wilderness. You know what I mean?
Right. No.
Yeah. and I mean, that was my primary rule, was like, look, this show, we need to give advice for the common man, not somebody who's been in special operations for 8 years. Something that the average Joe can do.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it is what it is. They call it entertainment business for a reason. They are primarily concerned about making money by giving folks entertainment and don't really give a shit whether it's true or false. So, that's fine. I made the choice to go up there. I also made the choice to leave.
Yeah, exactly. There's have you ever heard of or checked out the show Alone on the History Channel? It's kind of...
No. I have. I mean, people are stuck out there for 30 days with minimal training or something like that.
They're all pretty trained.
They're all experienced survivalists, but they put them out there. There's what do they do? 10 of them, and they 10
and
people.
It's see who lasts the longest or something.
Yeah, whoever lasts the longest gets $500,000, but they're all by themselves. And
sorry, cocktail time.
What's that?
Cocktail time.
So they cocktail time. They put them out there for whoever lasts the longest, and completely alone. And they do it up on Vancouver Island?
Vancouver Island, yeah. And they're carrying all their own camera equipment. They're recording themselves.
Yeah, they're doing it Les Stroud style.
Yeah, they don't have someone following them. They're doing all the things themselves.
And they have communication with, if there's an emergency, they have a sat phone. They can contact the crew to come and get them. And every once in a while.
Yeah, but I mean, even those I'm kind of skeptical about. It's are they slipping them power bars in between takes?
Apparently not.
I don't know.
We've had three contestants from that show on our show, and there we had the season 1 winner. We had two contestants that made it pretty damn far in season 2, and then we have another one coming up soon, I think.
Yeah, we have one a fourth one next week.
Next week.
So they're we're on our own. When we quit. Otherwise, that's good to hear.
Yeah, they say it's legit. Because you get to choose a certain amount of items to bring out with you.
Yeah, they give you an approved list, and then you pick yourself what you want to bring, and then
you're I want a helicopter.
3 other people.
Yeah, a masseuse.
I want a playmate.
But then they drop you off at random places, and you don't know where you're getting dropped off. So you could be by a river, you could be just totally in the woods, you could whatever, and it's up to you to decide if you want to make a shelter, if you want to hunt for food, whatever you want to do. And usually it's either the food situation, they don't have enough to eat, and that forces them to give up, or it's bears or wolves or some other predator that they get freaked out and they are I'm out of here.
But the winners are going up. They're lasting, 2-3 months out there. The people that are winning the show.
60 days, 56 days. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's pretty crazy.
Well, it's interesting. When people ask me about survival and what do I do, I always say, well, the first thing that can kill you is the first thing you need to address. So, based on your environment, that could be water, that could be wild animals, it could be shelter. I mean, you got to figure out what's the first thing that can kill me right now. That's what I need to deal with right now. And then you go through that progression, basically, of what's the second thing that can kill me.
Yeah.
And
that's one of the biggest challenges.
No right answer.
One of the biggest challenges is being able to...
what kind of environment you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Being able to keep your cool and actually assess your situation and not freak the fuck out. And just,
you have to.
Yeah,
you have to make smart decisions, especially when you're fresh. It's okay, I just got dropped off, so I have body fat. I've got, food in me. I'm not dehydrated yet. You need to make really smart decisions early on, especially.
At the end of the day, it's very mental. I feel like it's very mental because a lot of people have families or loved ones at home that they're missing, and then they go through all of that stuff. But then also being knowledgeable about, I can eat this or I can't eat that. That'll kill me if I eat that. Or
remember season 1, there was a police officer who was one of the contestants, and he made it one night
because of the bears.
He heard some black bears nuzzling around his tent, and he's like, "Nope, I'm done."
He freaked out. Yeah,
and then season 2, there was a guy who made it a few hours.
Yeah, you didn't even make it a day.
He saw a bear. He heard a bear. I don't know what it was, but he's
I'm out.
He didn't even make it the whole day. He was there maybe half a day, and he's like, all right.
I think that was the guy
too. He was a veteran.
Yeah, I think that was the guy. Wasn't that the guy that dropped his ferro rod in the water in the ocean or on the beach?
No, it was the black dude.
That was the first guy. But there was another guy that dropped. Maybe it was day 1 or 2. He dropped his.
Oh, why is it gotta be the black dude?
Yeah, right. You're so racist, Sarge. God.
He was the only black guy on there.
The black dude made it one day.
But he was like an army vet, and he was talking up about how he was a military veteran and how he was going to be able to totally do this, and he didn't last a day. And I'm like, okay, this guy was obviously like a PLL clerk or something, and all he did was sit behind a desk signing out. Worked in the supply shop.
Well. That leads me to a really interesting story. I get a lot of younger guys that come to me and they want to go into the SEAL teams. And so I try and mentor these guys just like I was. I had a lot of help when I was younger, and I sought out guys that were SEALs. And when they're asking me about, what kind of workouts should I do, the first question I ask them is, why do you want to be a SEAL? If it's the movies and the books, you're not going to make it 3 days.
Yeah.
If this is something that's just this crazy burning desire you think about every 3 minutes, you might have a chance, because the mind will fail you before your body will. And so if you don't have it all figured out upstairs, I don't care if you can go out in the parking lot and start tossing cars around.
Yeah, I believe it.
And a prime example of this, when I was going through BUDS, which is SEAL training, it's the first 6 months that you go through, we had this guy in my class, and he was ranked 10th triathlete in the United States. So this guy, when we were doing our conditioning runs, he's breathing through his nose, just laughing. We'd go out for the swims. He would be on the beach and dry before we were halfway done. He was like the poster child of a Navy SEAL student.
Physically.
And we went into Hell Week, which is where you're awake for 6 days straight. Maybe you get a total of 45 minutes of sleep.
What?
You're carrying a boat around on your head in groups of 7. And so you end up getting a nice bald spot and scabs on the top of your head because it just wears it out. And you're hypothermic the whole time, and you start hallucinating day 3 without doing drugs. So that was kind of fun. But this guy quit day 2. We're like, holy fuck. I'm not going to say his name, but I'll be like, what? Who just quit? He was one of the first guys to quit in my class during Hell Week. Because this guy was so physically gifted, he had never really truly been challenged.
I suppose, yeah.
And when you took away the sleep, and you added the hypothermia, and you added the I'm starving, he just wasn't equipped to deal with that mentally.
Yeah.
Where another guy in the boat crew behind us, 135 pounds, soaking wet, had been challenged his whole life. Every week was kind of a Hell Week for this guy because he was just a skinny dude. And so Hell Week was just another week for him, and he walked through it. He was like, just another week.
Yeah.
So,
God, I can't.
It's interesting.
That reminds me of when I was overseas in Iraq. I always loved having the little tiny dudes as gunners up in a turret of our Humvee because they were the most ferocious fuckers in our company. Those little dudes, they make great gunners.
Yeah, and a smaller target.
Yeah. That's true. You just see the top of their head sticking up out of the turret, and they're yelling out, "Imshi, row, row."
No, but that's it. I mean, that's what got me through Hell Week. I was a late bloomer, man. And when I was in college, I was still growing.
Yeah.
I graduated high school 140 pounds. And so I had a fucking ginormous chip on my shoulder, having grown up been the skinniest and the shortest guy. And that kind of tenacity is what it takes if you want to get through something like BUDS. And even though it was incredibly frustrating when I was younger, it sure did pay off as I started getting older and going through stuff like that. Because I was like, oh, fuck you. No, you're not better than me. And I was, as an officer, I was a class leader, and I basically was like, I'm not going to get tight with any of these guys until we're done with Hell Week, and that's when we can start getting tight. It's kind of like the same mentality they had in Vietnam. Look, if you make it a month, then we'll let you in the club.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we may not see you tomorrow.
Every time somebody quit, it empowered me because I was like, I just made it one more minute than you did.
Right.
I cannot.
I mean, it's a little cannibalistic, but it's like, yep. You weren't man enough, and I'm still here.
You're right, or especially people that you wouldn't have thought would ever quit. Like, you're like, that dude.
Yeah, like the 10th rate triathlete in the United States.
Yeah.
So
I cannot imagine being awake for 6 fucking days straight. I go crazy. When I go 2 or 3 days with very little sleep, I can barely function.
It's wild. So we did this thing, which was on the 3rd night, which is called Around the World. So the training is in Coronado Island, which is this island just off the coast to the west of San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do this thing called Around the World, where you paddle these ridiculously slow inflatable 250-pound rubber boats around the entire island at night. And so at that point, you're so zonked out that everybody is hallucinating. But the best part about it is everybody hallucinates at a different time. So it's a fucking amazing, like, entertainment. Like, one guy in my boat crew thought he was Elvis, and all of a sudden he stopped rowing and stood up and started singing Elvis songs. And they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then I thought that I saw a bunch of 747s that had crashed into the San Diego Bay and were floating. I'm like, guys, we got to go out there and help them. And they're like, yeah, okay, LT.
That's crazy. I was going to say, were you guys starting to see like sea monsters and shit while you were rolling around this island?
You do. But you start getting so what's the word for it? I forget. But you have this incredible fear of water because it's just, at the end of the day, you can be the fastest runner, fastest swimmer, best on the O course, but the ultimate, like, neutralizer or equalizer is the cold water. You just don't train for cold water. It's not like you're going to sit in your shower for an hour and be like, yeah, I'm training for buds. And so the worst thing in the world is you fall asleep while you're paddling and you fall into the water and you just wake up screaming.
No.
And you're like,
that would happen?
I'm going to be wet for the next hour.
People would do that? They just pass out and fall into the water?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I literally ran with that boat on my head, and I slept while I ran for a few seconds. It's a trip.
I've done that before. I did that.
How do you run and sleep?
Yeah, I did that when I was younger, and I just was working 2 jobs where I was never got any sleep. And I remember getting up, I was studying because I was studying to be like a manager at this place. And I would start to doze off and slam my head into the book, And so I would get up and go walk around to try to wake myself up. And then I noticed that I would fall asleep while I was walking, and I'd like fall into shelves and shit because I was literally falling asleep while I was walking.
Are you sure you didn't have narcolepsy?
I know.
No, I was exhausted. And that was only like just be.
What kind of drugs were you on?
I was getting more sleep than you were, and 6 straight days with no sleep. That was nowhere near what I wasn't dealing with. Nowhere near what you guys were.
Sleep deprivation's a trip, man.
It's so crazy.
There's a reason why we climb into bed every night for how many hours we're allowed to. I mean, it's just a trip. Your body needs to shut down.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Ideally, daily.
Daily would be good.
Recharge. And when you don't get the chance to recharge, and by the way, you're hypothermic. Like, I did a study where I figured out we were burning 24,000 calories every 24 hours.
What?
So basically, that's
possible?
like 19 Big Macs that you're just flying through in a period of a day. And most of the calories that you're burning is because you're trying to keep yourself warm.
But you're not even. You're not even taking anywhere near that kind of calories in every day either, are you?
Well, okay. So the one thing that you can count on during Hell Week is you will get a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner, and you just break it down to let's just get to the next meal. Mm-hmm. That's the Hell Week mentality. Just make it to lunch because you're going to get 3 squares, and you're just like And as an officer, I was always the last guy to eat. So, I mean, like caveman, like you're grabbing stuff with your hand and throwing it in your mouth. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a can of Crisco and you're just like eating Crisco.
You learn to appreciate food.
I don't care. I need fuel.
That's crazy. Is this true or not? Did you sustain some injuries during training?
Oh, yeah.
I have the dubious honor. So BUDS is only supposed to be 6 months long, and I have the dubious honor of having been at BUDS the longest. It took me 19 months because I broke my left leg twice, my right leg once.
What?
And I got run over by a boat and fractured my skull. So, and the problem is, if you don't make it through Hell Week, which when I went through was week 6, you go right back to day 1 again, which is just nothing but getting beat like a dog. So I started Hell Week 3 times. 3rd time was a charm. Finally made it through.
Holy shit!
And was happy to graduate. But after 19 weeks of that kind of punishment, man, I felt like I was bulletproof.
So you're like
I was like one of Michael Vick's like fighting dogs. I was just like, don't even fucking get near me. I'll fucking chew your face off.
Now, what do you think is more badass though? A guy who can go through buds all the way in one turn, or a guy who has to go through Hell Week 3 fucking times?
Well, I tell you, I would say luck, because I mean, anybody who goes straight through, the percentage of that is like maybe 5% of the guys that start day one, and they're starting classes with 250 guys.
Yeah,
so maybe 3% go straight through, because there's just so many variables. I mean, you either get injured like I did repeatedly, or you fuck up something like during dive phase, where you get attacked and they rip your hoses off and you have to go through all these procedures, or you have a safety violation. I mean, there are any number of ways that you can get kicked off of or kicked out of bud. And, the instructors, at the end of the day, they have the say. They might not like your attitude.
Or you're Demi Moore.
Well, you're the gatekeeper when you're an instructor buzz. That was what I did my last year in the Navy. Was I was a senior SEAL instructor. And so when I left SEAL Team 1, I said, look, I promise I will not let anybody from buds come in here that doesn't deserve a shot to be a good SEAL. And I took that, again, it's about that. I felt like I was responsible, and I took that very seriously.
Yeah.
So how did you break your legs 47 times during...
3 times.
Oh, 3 times.
It felt like 47 times.
I'm sure.
The first time was a stress fracture. So basically, during a period of a normal week, you're running at least 60 miles in boots. That includes conditioning runs, timed runs, and then it's a mile every time you go to eat, and then every time you go back to your barracks. So I just had a stress fracture because my legs are kind of bowed. And the second time I hit a rock when we were doing this thing called rock portage, where you're out there and you're in those goddamn rubber boats, and you have to basically land it on this set of rocks that's right in front of the Hotel del Coronado. And they love when we do rock portage, because you get all these civilians out there just laughing at us. And I just nailed a rock in the wrong spot. And so and then when I got my fractured skull, we were doing surf passage, which is where you start on the shore with these goddamn rubber boats, and you have to paddle through the set of waves. And it was a huge day for some reason. And one of the safety boats wasn't paying attention. They got inside the breakers, and it rolled right over on my skull.
Oof.
And so I was lucky. I mean, if it wasn't wintertime, the water wasn't 6 degrees, I would have died. But
did you stay conscious?
The water was so cold, I maintained my consciousness.
Okay.
I crawled to the beach, and there's nothing worse when you see SEAL instructors who have been in for 12 plus years look at you, and then all of a sudden their eyes get big because you're bleeding out of your ear hole. It's like,
shit,
this can't be good.
This dude's gonna die.
That's not good. And I went unconscious. I woke up in the ambulance that was taking me over the Coronado Bridge, and I got to the hospital, and they're like, your brain is bleeding, and we're going to do another CAT scan 20 minutes to see if it's continuing to hemorrhage. So is there anybody you want to call? I'm like, I guess I better call Mom.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Mom. Hey, Mom.
My brain's bleeding.
There was a little accident. My brain's bleeding. I'll give you a call back as soon as I find out more information.
And I bet you all I bet you all that was going through your mind at that time was, fuck, I got to do Hell Week over again.
Yeah. I was just like, man, really? Can I catch a break here? But I tell you what, anybody I talk to who says they want to do that, I'm like, you can't have a plan B. You can't be like, I want to try this.
Right. No.
You have to be so mentally obsessed with the idea of being SEAL for the right reasons, not because Wahlberg looked really fucking cool in that movie when he was rolling down the hill.
Right.
It's like you have to be totally obsessed. Yeah. You can't go into it with like, well, if this doesn't work out, I'll just go sell,
you got to be a little bit of a psycho.
Well, you have to be invested in it. Absolutely.
You can't be normal.
You have to, because going 3 days without any sleep, hypothermic, and you have a bald spot in your head and you're in your 20s.
Right.
The books don't get you through that. The cool movies don't get you through that. So
yeah,
crazy.
Jesus.
Well, and don't they say like
best
if you're
job in the world though? Like,
if you're
best job in the world.
Oh, I bet. If you're, and especially if you're, like you said, like invested and passionate about it. Don't they say when you're doing the training for the running, if you can't talk, like you can't carry conversation, isn't that like the I don't run, so I don't know, but
you're not supposed to talk.
You if you're running at like, because don't you guys do different intervals, like you do low pace and then faster?
Yeah, no, I mean that's very true. If you can maintain a conversation that is articulate while you're doing a 7-minute mile,
yep,
then cardiovascular wise, you're in good shape. You're doing well.
Yeah.
If you're just sucking air the whole time,
that'd be me.
Then you need to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I fucking hate running.
I hate it. I have never experienced, like, I have friends that run or like family members that run, like they like to do it like on a regular basis, which I think is weird. I don't know.
I know.
I'll do weights, like I like weight strengthening for like working out or yoga, but running, no.
Yeah.
And they're always like, but you get this high, and I'm like, I've tried it. There's never been a high. The only high I get is when I'm done and I don't have to do it anymore. I've never experienced
that. I think it's a low.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take my high from a bottle of whiskey.
We used to joke, we're like, oh God, I can't wait till we're done with Bud so we can get in the weight room and start getting big.
Right,
running sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, but I guess that's what you got to do.
I'd rather deal with close hand-to-hand combat and not have to run and just get it done in a flurry.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
The only problem with that is, like, you want that 265-pound dude, like, that's kicking down the door.
Right.
Because that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Until he gets shot and you got to carry the fucking 265-pound guy out until you get extracted. Then it's not awesome.
Then it's not awesome. And that's if they even pick you up on time or pick you up at all, which that doesn't apparently happen either.
It's like,
so.
Oh, shit, we got to go to our secondary extract.
Has anybody ever died during Bud's training that you know of?
Yeah.
Like one dude?
Yeah, that's a little bit of a sensitive subject there, but I'll tell you why. When like I said, my last year in the Navy, I was the senior instructor at Bud's. And we got this commanding officer who he decided he wanted to try a new version of Bud's, where instead of what we've been doing for 45 years that had been tried and proven and successful at getting good candidates to graduation.
Why mess with that?
He wanted us to mentor them. Oh. No, don't yell at them. Don't make them do push-ups. Let's be mentors.
Okay.
Let's help them through this process.
And somebody died because they were nicer?
I don't know. I mean, that's why I got out of the Navy. I was like, I can't condone this.
That's crazy.
And as a senior instructor, I had all the instructors coming up to me saying, hey, Lieutenant, this is fucking bullshit. What's going on? I mean, he's trying to change everything. We're supposed to pat him on the back and give him a safe space and say, that's all right, try it again. And so the only problem is when you do the math and an 03 in the Navy, which is lieutenant, goes up to an 06, which is a captain, and says, sir, this is fucked up. Well, like I said, do the math. 03 loses. So I said, well, I guess it's time for me to move on. And that's unfortunately why I got out of the Navy. I mean, I didn't get the chance to go to Dev Group and work with the Super Bowl team and do that. And I would say that's my only regret regarding my time in the military.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when I joined the Army in 2001 when I was 17. And basic training was still, basic training. It wasn't all pussified. Mm-hmm. But after I got out, I was hearing stories about how they had implemented these, what were they called? These like a
timeout.
Yeah, these cards.
Like you're in kindergarten?
There's like these cards that you would carry, and if you thought that you were being the training was too physically demanding, or the drill sergeant was being too hard on you, you could hand the drill sergeant this card, which basically said like, "Stop being mean to me. Like, give me a break." Like these. I can't remember what they're called.
You try handing the Taliban one of those cards.
Yeah, right.
And
that's
then you're
ridiculous.
going to be in an orange jumpsuit with a head that just fell on the ground.
I could not believe that shit. So stupid. It's now you got a bunch of hipsters in the military.
Wow.
God.
So ridiculous.
Do they have like a latte card? Like, I'm ready for my latte?
Yeah. Apparently you can now in the military you can have like shoulder length long hair if you're a dude. You can wear a man bun. You don't have to be in uniform. You can wear like a fish t-shirt.
Well, yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but what happens when you go to war? You don't get to like give the enemy a card and be like, "Don't shoot at me, I'm scared of you."
I mean, that's just it. When you start messing around with people who are going to war and are going to see the nastiest of the nasty, and you start making that a social experiment, you're going to start seeing a lot higher body count. It's just no. War is fucking ugly. It's the last case scenario, and you need people to be animalistic and ruthless if they're going to be good.
Right.
And the latte card or the timeout,
the bitch card,
will not work.
Stress
you will
card.
End up coming home in a fucking body bag.
It was called a stress card. You're stressing me out. You're stressing me out too much, Drill Sergeant. I need you to lay off for a minute.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Wait till fucking bullets start fucking sinking off your helmet.
How does that even help? That is so stupid. And I've never even served in the military, but I can't imagine
in that environment,
right?
That are making this a social experiment. I have no. You know what? Women in the military. If you go through what I went through, you will be my teammate. I will back you up 110%.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But if we start making exceptions and altering the training so we can get an individual through, regardless of gender, you are ruining the final product, and you are ruining what ultimately will be a KIA. It's whatever.
Well,
I can never be in politics.
I want to go back because we kind of jumped over the subject. I asked you earlier, do you know of anybody that's actually lost their life during BUDS training?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I didn't kind of close the loop on that with the commanding officer that I had that wanted us to give our students hugs. So in the history of BUDS, when I was there, SEAL training, BUDS had been going on for 45 years. And in 45 years, we lost 2 individuals. Under this fucking asshole's command, he lost 2 students within 3 months.
It was
people that we said they are not supposed to be here. Yes.
So it was it wasn't even during like the badass days of BUDS. It was during the wussy days of BUDS is when 2 people died.
It was.
Wow.
You know, I'm going to call him out because fuck this guy.
Yeah, fuck that. 2 people died.
Captain Ed Bowen.
Ed Bowen.
And Ed Bowen thought he had this amazing new leadership tactic and technique that was, you know what, mentorship is going to be so much more productive than just beating these guys, building them back up, beating them, building them back up each time they get stronger, which we've been doing for 45 years. And it had been successful.
Was he a vegan
too? And so when he retired, he thought he was going to be an admiral until he killed a couple students. He retired.
Jesus.
And the next guy that came through was one of the finest officers I ever had the opportunity to work for. And I'm not going to name him, but he was fucking amazing. And he basically went through and cleaned house. He said, I've gotten rid of all of Bowen's babies. You boys go back to doing what you know how to do. You know what it takes to be a fucking warrior. Mm-hmm. Make it happen.
Yeah, the shit wasn't broken. Why were they trying to change it?
It was very gratifying. I had basically had to hop on the sword, and I was willing to do that because I morally was not okay with what was going on there, and I promised I'd be a gatekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
So
how did these guys? How did these guys die?
Killed a couple kids, and
how did they die?
Now he's. Oh, I'm not exactly sure, but I mean, when you go 45 years with two trainee deaths, and then you go 4 months with 2 trainee deaths, and something ain't right.
I'm assuming probably drowning or something, huh?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think one had pneumonia, and they couldn't clear his airway because he was vomiting, and then the other one was a drowning, I believe.
He didn't get enough hugs. He didn't get his quota of hugs, and he died from it.
Yeah, he didn't get the latte card.
The latte card.
That is so fucked up.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to have anything to do with it. So why not go to Hollywood where people are really awesome?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god!
Whatever, man. It was weird. I just loaded up a U-Haul and went up there.
But now you've got your most current venture right now is you've got the Victory Coffees.
I do. I wanted to. A Navy SEAL is kind of a natural for being an entrepreneur because we're very independent thinkers. We're pretty type A. We'll do whatever it takes to get success. And I decided, all right, I'm going to start my own business. And I don't have a whole lot of money in the bank. Daddy isn't going to write me a check because Daddy doesn't have any money. So I figured, all right, what is something that everybody loves? And I figured, well, fuck. Coffee was usually the best part of my day when I was over in places like Iraq and Afghanistan, like a good cup of coffee. Yeah. That was sort of my yoga session where I'd go out by myself and just sip on my coffee and then get ready to go for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I used the same business model like Dollar Shave Club where you're a member and it shows up at your door every day, and 83% of Americans are drinking coffee. And convenience now is very, very highly ranked among people when they talk about a product. Like diapers show up at my door, razor blades show up at my door.
Groceries.
And so since coffee is a consumable item, I was like, okay, let's do a coffee membership company. And so I started Victory Coffees a little over 2 years ago. We had our 2-year anniversary on Memorial Day in May.
Awesome.
And
beautiful.
We've been doing great. First year was a little rough, just like starting any business. But in January 2017, I was on Shark Tank, and that was some great exposure.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Monday after Donald Trump was inaugurated, my friends over there at Fox News had me on and featured me, and we're having a great year. I mean, it's an award-winning coffee company. So our shit is really good. We have K-Cups.
And it's organic, too.
Yeah. It's organically grown, fairly traded, veteran-owned, veteran-operated coffee company that shows up at your door every month.
Beautiful.
Whether you want 1 cup a day or you're drinking 8 cups a day, you can figure out what you want. There's no commitment. If you want to stop, you can cancel. If you want to skip a month, you can do that. I mean, it's just... So Victory Coffees is, like I said in the video, it beats getting shot at.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and it's priced well too, because it's like what, a buck a cup. You know, basically, is that what it breaks down to?
It is premium, award-winning coffee that costs you $8 a cup.
Yeah. Compared to go to Starbucks and getting some shit, and you pay like
you can park your car. Wait in line. They can't even spell your name right.
Right.
And you leave there with a cup of acid,
yep.
And you just spent $5 on it.
At
so
least.
I mean, it's your choice. And making coffee at home, I mean, it's so easy. There's so many options. Whether you just use an old school, drip machine, or a French press, or a pour over, a Chemex. I mean, you name it. It's way too easy to do. And how cool is that to start your day with your family or your wife or your husband? Like, hey, you both wake up and you both have a cup of coffee together, and then you start your day. And we're getting ready to come out with travel mugs, which are aluminum ones.
Sweet.
So it's like, all right, cool. I now have a amazing cup of coffee sitting right there in my coffee holder in my car, and I'm heading to work. And, oh, by the way, I got to spend 20 minutes with my wife, and what a great way to start the day.
Yeah, I like the idea of getting my coffee from a Navy SEAL. A Navy SEAL sent me my coffee to my home instead of having to drive to Starbucks to get some pimple-faced hipster making me a piece of shit $6 cup of crap.
That's probably going to be wrong anyway.
That I have to go there to get.
Oh, I'm sorry. You mean somebody that they brought in from Syria because they want to hire...
is that what they're doing now?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, they made a big push. They're hiring 10,000 refugees this year from Syria.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'd rather take my coffee from a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So give us a try. I mean, look, I put a special coupon code on the website, Sarge. And you guys are basically, anybody who types in Sarge is getting half off their first month, free shipping. So basically, I am paying money for you to try my coffee that first month.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
I'm losing money for you guys to try it, but give us a try.
Right?
If you don't like it, that's fine. You can cancel. It's like, all right.
Exactly.
Sweet, that guy just paid money for me to get a month of his coffee.
Yep.
But I'm willing to do that because I believe in the product. I believe in what we're doing. We're hiring more and more veterans every month, which is awesome because that's all they want. When I got out, I just wanted a mission and a family, and that's what I'm giving these guys because we're losing 23 of them a day to suicide. So I've got my own platoon again, and they're awesome guys. And give us a try. You know, what do you have to lose?
Damn right. I mean, I was saying to Frenzy earlier, you know, you've got that Sarge promo code gives you 50% off that first month's order. You don't hear that. That's like unprecedented. Usually you hear of like a 5%, 10% discount on a promo code. You're cutting that shit in half.
Yeah. Plus, I mean,
it's 50 cents a cup for award-winning coffee.
Right. Plus, you've got so many different options
with the guys from Seattle.
Right. You've got dark roast. You've got medium. You've got light. You've got espresso. You've got the sample pack, which that's probably what I'm going to order so I can try all of them. You've got decaf for those weirdos, but hey, they're out there. It's fine.
Decaf sucks, but you got to have it.
K-cups. And then even
and I tell you what, the
decaf
K-cups is half our business. I mean,
is it?
K-cups. The biggest complaint, people love the convenience of a K-cup. It's so easy.
Yeah.
But the biggest complaint is it's so watered down. We are cramming 12 grams of espresso into each K-cup. So we literally have the world's strongest K-cups.
Yeah.
So if you love the convenience of your Keurig and you want a strong cup of coffee, give us a try.
Absolutely.
If you don't like it, just cancel.
Mm-hmm. And they can also do bulk orders as well if they want to.
It really doesn't get any easier than that. You're making it about as easy as possible for someone to consume some good-ass coffee. You can't get a cup of shitty coffee at a gas station for 50 cents these days.
No.
No, you can't. And look, folks, I get it. The temperatures are rising. It's July. It's hot outside. And we have a great video of how to do cold brew. It's so easy to make your own cold brew coffee.
Really?
So for the next month or two, do cold brew.
Where do they find that
when
at?
the temperatures start going down, get right back to the hot stuff.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Doesn't matter. Have your cold, have your hot. I like to just have it hot in the morning every time.
Where's that?
I heard that about you.
Mm-hmm. I like it hot.
Where can you find that cold brew video?
I'm sorry. It was so totally Navy.
I left it open. So it's all good. No apology needed.
You threw me a softball on that one.
She likes it hot. Muy caliente. En fuego.
Oh, fuego.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, one last thing because it's about time to wrap this up. But I want to hear a little bit. Can we touch on this book? You have a best-selling book, survival guide book.
Yeah. So again, I never imagined I would write a book because I hated writing. But when we wrapped Surviving Disaster, the folks at Simon & Schuster, and they're kind of a powerhouse, so it was very flattering to get an email from them. They're like, hey, would you write a book kind of based on the show where we go through an A to Z, what do you do in this situation? And what they wanted to do was a combination of a checklist of what do I do, and then anecdotes of, this happened to me in the past and this is what happened. And so I wrote the SEAL Survival Guide, available at any major bookstore and Amazon.com. And I'm proud of it. I mean, I get emails from people about once a week that say, hey, I read your book. I was on the 13th floor of my building where I work. There was a fire below us, and I did what I read in your book, and I saved my entire office.
Drink.
How fucking cool is that?
That's really cool.
That's a hell of a lot cooler than selling a bunch of coffee. It's like, I followed your instructions, and I got all my coworkers out of there.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
that's badass.
And even if that never happens, even if that never happens again, just the fact that it happened the one time.
One time.
You know?
If you saved one person.
This guy, he said, I've always been afraid my whole life. It's ruining my relationship with my wife and my family to the point where I was getting everybody gas masks that personally fit their face. And he's like, I read your book, and I finally said, you know what? Enough's enough. We're ready. We're prepared. And he's like, you saved my marriage. You saved my family. I was like, wow.
That's
Imagine
crazy.
getting an email like that.
No.
Yeah. That shit makes it worth it.
mean,
If you can affect one person like that makes it worth it, doesn't it?
Seriously.
Yeah.
And it was just from a book. But
it's pretty incredible.
So, I mean, in my world, you can get a really big paycheck, but you know what? I'll take an email like that once a week, and I'm fucking happy as can be. So
beautiful.
Absolutely.
It's really cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
Beautiful. It's about time to pull this train into the station, my friend. You
Okay.
ready? You ready to tell the people where they can find you online? Where they can find all your badassery and Victory Coffees?
Again, it's Victory Coffees with an S, or I even bought the domain, so you don't even have to put the S in. It can be Victory Coffee. And give us a try. Or just go ahead and Google Cade Courtley, and it's got every link on there. So
Yeah. You also have a Facebook page,
Twitter, Instagram,
Victory Coffees.
Yeah, we got
for all those things.
We got Instagram. We have YouTube. If you want to go on YouTube, you can figure out. I've got a bunch of public speaking events I did where I talk about SEAL stuff.
Oh,
Cool.
nice.
Also on the YouTube link on Victory Coffees shows you how to cold brew, use a French press.
I want to check out that cold brew.
So making coffee at home, but hey, I
Beautiful.
appreciate your time, and whether you want to buy my coffee or not, just keep in mind let's help out these guys that went overseas for deployments, lost arms, lost legs, need help. Hire vets, please. Hire vets. If you're hiring, think about a vet. And give them a mission again, because they'll give you 150%. I promise.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
damn right.
It
ain't easy. It ain't easy.
Really will.
Dealing with civilian life after you get out, and it's sad that more soldiers, more servicemen are dying by their own hand than by the enemy these days.
Well, they've lost hope, and I tell you what.
Sad.
Again, for anybody who's out there hiring, don't look at a veteran's resume and be like, he drove a tank, how is he going to help my company? No. This is a person at a young age that was responsible for $1 million worth of equipment.
Yeah.
He managed people, and he was getting shot at. He will definitely figure out a way to bring up your sales. Or he will figure out a way to make your warehouse work better. I promise. Give these guys a shot. Please. Men and women, that is.
Yes.
Give these folks a shot. Give them a try. I mean, they will be the first ones there, the last ones to leave. You'll tell them something once, and you won't have to tell it to them twice.
Yeah.
Just give them a shot.
That's a damn good way to put it. You got these. I was 21 when I went overseas. You got these young men that are operating vehicles and equipment that are worth more than your entire company. Back in the civilian world.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And they're getting shot at.
Yeah.
And they're dealing with it.
Right.
Oh, my God. You remember when you were 21? What the hell did we know when we were 21?
Nothing.
I thought I had it all figured out.
Nothing.
I was a child.
Absolutely.
But these guys are coming in with qualities that you're not going to get from somebody who is still living in their parents' basement. So please give them a try. Give them a shot, please.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, Cade, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Cade.
This has been a fucking blast, man.
Yeah, I love chatting with you.
I loved it. And if there's anything I can do to help you guys out and broaden your audience and give you more awareness, you got my phone number. Give me a call anytime.
Same goes for you, brother. We got your back, and we're glad to know you got ours. It's been fun. It's been a great time.
And FYI, we live in Minnesota, so we drink a lot of coffee in the winter. So there's going to be that happening. So if you see a spike in Minnesota orders, yep.
I love any new customer. I don't care if you live under a bridge or at the White House.
Right?
I love them all.
Yep. No, I know. Perfect.
Awesome. Boom. friggin' outro time, frenzy.
Holy cow.
Let's do the outro.
Let's do it.
All right. That episode is done. Cade Courtley.
Yes.
One badass dude. With some awesome stories to tell.
One badass mamma jamma.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The Shark Tank dude, Navy SEAL. He had the show on Spike TV and Discovery Channel, Surviving Disaster.
Author.
Best-selling author.
Yep.
And Victory Coffees.
Yes.
We're fans. We're happy to have to back that company. And one of the coolest things is that it's completely run and owned by military veterans.
Yeah.
Gotta love that.
Absolutely. Yep.
So definitely go check out Victory Coffees on victorycoffees.com and all their social media spots. And the cool thing is that you can type in the promo code SARGE. And what does that get you, Frenzy?
It gets you 50% off your first month plus free shipping.
Yeah, how can you beat that?
Like, you literally are going to pay 50 cents a day for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, 50 cents for a freaking cup of coffee.
Yeah.
You can't get that in a gas station.
And they have a bunch of different roasts. They have ground. They have whole beans. They have K-cups. They have decaf for those weirdos out there.
Right.
They also have orders that you can buy in bulk. So...
yeah, it comes right to your damn house.
Yeah.
It's organic, fairly traded coffee, and it's sent to you by a Navy SEAL.
And it's not that bitter crap that you're going to get out from Seattle. So
Yeah, it's not that watered-down crap that you get in some of those K-cups.
Yep.
It's jam-packed with 12 grams of badass coffee.
Yep.
How cool would that be? Sipping on a cup of coffee from Victory Coffees knowing that a Navy SEAL sent it to you.
I know, right?
Makes you feel a little bit more badass when you're drinking it.
Yeah, be Americans, be patriotic.
Yeah, right? So yeah, you type in that promo code 50% off, which is like unheard of. Type in the code SARGE and order yourself your first month's worth of coffee. You're gonna get a month's worth of coffee for like $15.
Yeah.
With that promo code. So
yep, that's perfect.
if you already drink coffee, why not try them out? Try them out one time. And use that promo code. It'll be worth it. If you don't like it, then go back to whatever other crap you drink. But it's worth trying out once.
Do it.
Do it. We also got to give a shout out to our main man,
Kevin Goatee.
Yeah, from Comics Watching Comics. And if you aren't familiar with Comics Watching Comics, it's this very well done, very funny show that he's put together where him and fellow comedians, veterans in the comedy business, sit down and they go through and they have up-and-coming comedians do a set, and then these more veteran comics will kind of critique it and give pointers, and sometimes they're going to give you some shit if you had a bad set.
Well, yeah, if you suck, then you suck.
Yeah, if you suck, they're not going to let you know. They're not going to beat around the bush and hold your hand. They're going to let you know what they think you could improve on, what they think just absolutely sucked about your set. But it's a really cool opportunity for comedians trying to get their name out there.
Yeah, and it's a really cool idea too. So
yeah, it's really cool.
You can check them out on Facebook, Comics Watching Comics. They also have a website, comicswatchingcomics.com.
Twitter,
Instagram.
They're on YouTube.
YouTube as well, yeah.
And they're also going to be on Amazon, so you can go there and
very
check
soon,
out
yeah,
everything.
They will be. Yeah.
So glad to be supporting those guys as well.
Absolutely.
They're one of our new sponsors. Comics Watching Comics.
Sponsor and friend.
Oh yeah, Kevin Goatee is definitely a friend of ours. We love that guy, and he's doing good things. So definitely check that out. It's going to be worth your time. All right, is that it? So we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
All right, we're done, people. Stop listening.
Done. Yep.
Stop listening.
You can.
As soon as the song's done, because
go to bed now.
Yeah. All right. Let's. You can find our episodes on like every podcast platform out there.
Yeah. Just
iTunes.
Search Sarge Approved.
Yeah.
We have a website.
Yeah.
We have
iTunes,
Instagram.
Spreaker. We're on Laughable.
We're on Laughable now. The Laughable app.
Yeah. Stitcher. We're on all of them. It's not that hard. Do we need to go through the list? I mean,
we kind of just did, but
yeah.
Really, just look us up.
Figure it out, people.
Sarge Approved.
Yes.
Do it.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for being such great fans. Couldn't do it without you people.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, we're going to play this episode out with a song by our main man, good friend, and one of our favorite musicians, Culla. with a beautiful song called Soul Challenger.
Yes.
All right, thanks for listening, guys.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Later, fuckers.
In the universe resonate to your heartbeat and your faith. Now break it on down for me. Great day, lover with the brown eyes stare. Take me from my life of despair. Hold me closely, whisper in my ear. I got my own reasons. I love you, my dear. Hey, hey, lady, lady in white, open your arms and enlighten my sight. Comfort and carry me to my new home. Open your heart and you're so free to roam. Get back now, make your brain take some action. Make your hands and clap that hear the power of what's happening. All the waves are crashing, all the throats are gasping, all the triggers are passing, all the lights are flashing, all to the rhythm of a passion.